This movie is what drugs look like in film form. And that would actually explain why James Franco looks like he's high the entire movie. And I shit you not, there is a line where he's just like, yeah, green's my favorite color. But I guess that's just his face. He's just got that, like, I'm high look. Anyway, I feel like that's detracting from the nice innocence of this movie, so we'll move on. Okay, so I never really expected that much from this movie. I mean, I liked the trailers, they were okay, but just the idea of making a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. And yes, there have been other spin-offs. Now, it's not a great movie, like, it's not like a classic like The Wizard of Oz, but it is a lot of fun. It maintains the naivety and innocence from films of that time period of The Wizard of Oz. And not necessarily, like, totally family-friendly, but I mean, it just is this movie that it kind of exists within its own innocence, and at times it kind of falters because of that in ways that I think that the original Wizard of Oz does not. It's mainly when the villains are like, your goodness, I don't like it, I like my badness, And yeah, I mean, the writing is fairly good. I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect out of a Sam Raimi movie. I like Sam Raimi. I mean, of course, Spider-Man 3 wasn't very good. But I mean, I really like the first two Spider-Man. The Quick and the Dead's great. The Evil Dead, I mean, come on. I love those movies. And so you kind of have to, yeah, he has a very purposefully cheesy dialogue in a lot of his movies, and that's very present here. I feel like it fits the environment more, but there were some times where I really didn't like it, but for the most part, I think that its kind of playfulness really works. And the visual effects are amazing. I mean, I think they're not quite as overdone as in Alice in Wonderland. So at some points, maybe it's a little too much, maybe a little too flashy, but I think for the most part, they are really breathtaking, and it's just beautiful to look at, and I think unlike Alice in Wonderland, because I don't even want to compare it to that, but it's consistently being compared to that, and they are so similar. I actually feel like it actually borrows, because it has a chance to create some of its own original points, because it gets to expand a little more on the original. It kind of borrows from Wonderland and some other places to kind of throw it into the mix there. Not sure if all those things work, but for the most part, they're alright. Yeah, Sam Raimi does a lot of directorial stuff that I think, like, Tim Burton didn't. It wasn't as pronounced, like, where he has that very, like, quick, over-the-top editing style throughout the film a couple times that I thought really worked, where it's just these, like, really extreme shots and pans and very quick, just really ridiculous almost, but it just works. I mean, you kind of at first are thrown back and like, oh, what's this? James Franco's really good. I mean, he's not amazing, but he does well. Mila Kunis was good up until, her. Don't want to spoil it in case you don't know already. Yes, there is a certain point where she just doesn't fit her role, and I think she was good for a while, and I don't think she was bad, but she just kind of felt out of place. On the other hand, Rachel Weisz as Evan Nora, I think she did a very good job. I really liked her kind of cool, removed character, where she just kind of had, I don't know, she just felt really comfortable on screen. She wasn't a very interesting character, but I think she pulled off her villainy very well. And Michelle Williams did a very good job at doing the pure, the ditzy-eyed, just, like, airy, dreamy, yeah. That part of the movie, like, when they go into her little bubble thing, that's when it got a little silly as far as, like, the pure, like, oh, it's so good and nice, and it recovers from that, but there was just, like, this 10-minute period that I really did not like. Zach Braff is just a lot of fun. Zach Braff is really funny. I loved him. I loved his character as the monkey. Joey King, she's, is the, like, really sympathetic, cute, little spunky character. Awesome. Yeah, overall, enjoyable movie. I had a fun time. I wasn't looking for more than that, and it's really just a great experience, good theater experience, a big crowd, and just a nice overall movie. I thought I was better than I expected it to be. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, and I give it a recommendation, one of those things that I give for things. Bye. So I go into this movie, right, knowing it's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, only to my crushing disappointment do I find that it does not, in fact, sync up with The Dark Side of the Moon. I was very disappointed. Most of the people in my theater were pretty upset that I had the audacity to bring a record player into the theater, but I mean, was I not gonna try? You sick bastards. So I figured, like, it had to match up with something, so I went through a bunch, and I think I got pretty close on Kids Bop 17.